Good evening. Hello, Internet. This is Sharif Awad from Ontario International Film Festival, welcoming Mr. Tamer Ezzat, director of We Are Born. We have just finished screening it on the festival platform on eventive.org. Hello, Tamer. مساء الخير.
الو مساء النور.
شكرا جزيلا على وجودك معنا. Thank you very much for joining us. And of course, I want first to ask you about the script, when it was written and how long it took you to find financing and present it last year.
Yes. How many minutes do we have? It took 13 years.
Yes, we can speak briefly.
Yeah. Okay, so I think in the year 2007, we wrote the script. I worked with the late scriptwriter, my dear friend Nadine Shams, who collaborated with me also on a previous film called The Place I Call Home. And The Place I Call Home was sort of a documentary reality kind of film, and it touched on issues with young Egyptians who wanted to immigrate, and the way we did it, it looked like a real film, but it's reality, but it has drama in it. So people actually interacted with it so nicely at the time, and we thought, what about we take this idea of talking about young people and take it up a notch and write a drama. So we wrote this in 2007, and with different, of course, versions of the script, and because the main characters in the film were young, in the sense that they did not match the age of any commercial TV stars at the time. The producing of the film was a bit of a challenge, because everybody, producers who came on board, the different ones, would always suggest name actors whom I adore, all of them, but in the end, they were a little bit older than what the film required.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work. It stayed for a long time, until in 2014. 2014, we wrote, I don't know, maybe the 7th or 8th version of the script, and Nadine passed away. And it was a little crisis for me, because now I didn't have my scriptwriter, my partner. And I kind of, I was supported also by her friends who, wanted to push the film and for a very long time. But anyway, the same issue with making this film from 2007 until 2017. Everybody with the same mentality for 10 years, talking about name stars. And anyway, in the end, I managed to get funding from Doha Film Institute. So that was like 10% of the budget. And I vowed, I said, I want to make this film. I think it's still viable for Egypt. It's not old. We updated the script a little bit. So instead of talking on the phone, now they talk on the iPad. They video chat. Things like this. Technology evolved. But the funny thing, or the ironic thing, is that the same issues that we felt was timely in 2007 were timely in 2017, 18, 19, I think, until now. So in the end, just to make a very, very long story short, I decided I have to do this film for Nadine's memory, for one very good reason, and also because I tried for a very long time to do it, and I had this partial funding, so I put some money from my own pocket. I borrowed from my family, and I partnered with a friend, Mu'taz Abdulwahab, who put the other half from his money, and we did it the way we thought we should do it. We got the right actors for the roles, in my opinion, and we made a contemporary musical drama.
Yes, but when Nadine first envisioned the script, was it already a musical at that time, or did you develop it as a musical later on?
The characters in the film were the same from the beginning. Okay, the format of having the songs intertwined inside the film like this is something recent that I worked on maybe in 2016. But we always had the idea that we wanted to do this. We were just waiting to have some funding, because it actually didn't change anything in the script.
Yes.
To make it into a musical, it didn't really change anything in the script. We were just waiting to get the proper funding, and I was lucky enough to work with also a very talented musician, Amir Eid.
Yes.
Whose style I think was lent itself to my film. It was poetic, deep, yet very contemporary Egyptian, and he's very, very talented with writing lyrics. We had fantastic collaboration. So I think I was very lucky with the musician I worked with on film.
Yes, in Egypt, as Egyptians, we know that we have a very big heritage, in musicals, since the beginning of cinema, the Egyptian cinema. And I remember we used to count songs in classic Egyptian musical, with Muhammad Abdul Wahab, Farid al-Atrash, Abdul Halim Hafiz. It was, a time and, part of the, let's say it was the golden era of Egyptian cinema. And of course, because they did it a lot, our ancestors, I think it was successful, for audience to experience musical in Egyptian cinema, And at that time, also Hollywood used to present musicals as well, dancing musical. What do you think about the reception of audience, because the film was screened in Egypt and in other Arab festival like Malmo, you told me, and received several awards. And what do you think about the reception of Egyptian and Arab audience for a film that feature music and songs as part of the narration nowadays? Yeah.
It's a very hard question. I'm a very big fan of the classical Egyptian musicals. Mu'taz, my partner, also producer. I think he came on board because he thought, we were raised to watch these musicals, and now we have the chance to do a 2020 version of it. Audience reception. People, we took many awards, so on the artistic side, I think it was very appreciated. On the commercial side, it didn't really do well in theaters, but I can claim that maybe this is because we didn't have enough budget for marketing, because we didn't have name actors, so you couldn't say, Tamer Hosni is making a film. And if you say Tamer Hosni is making a film, everybody would go and watch it. We had actors who were good for the roles, but did not have the market value that if you say Muhammad Hatem or Salma Hassan or whoever, anybody else is making a film, everybody would rush to cinemas.
Yes.
So we had a very, very limited budget of for advertising, and I think from my experience as a part producer, part director of this film, is that the people who saw it, we heard from them, and they were very appreciative. They loved the songs, and they interacted with the story in general. But I don't think enough people saw it. Now it's being released in OSN, I think, and I think it will have a bigger platform for
Audience.
people to see it. Yes, and we will know exactly the answer to your question. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
I
I have
we
another
have.
thing to say.
Yes, of
Uh,
course.
that in one of the screenings in Egypt, we had a panel discussion Q&A like this,
Hmm.
and somebody was saying that he was approached by a producer, and the producer told him to write a script like When We're Born.
Yes.
So, and that was when it was in theaters. So I think that was a sign that they got the attention of somebody who is a producer who has the pulse of the market, and maybe there will be other musicals out there, and we will be back to having songs in our films. If people like it, I don't know if I like it.
Yes, yes. But I think we need to push it a little bit so that people would be adequate to see other type of genre instead of thinking about big stars, and decide to go and buy a ticket, based on small criteria. Maybe this will change, the audience, favorite films in the future.
Absolutely,
So
I hope so.
yeah, yeah. So we have a question here from our friend Khalid Hamad. Can you see it on the screen?
Khaled, ازيك يا Khaled? Did you use pre-prepared songs, or did you write songs from the movie with lyrics that support your vision of the topic? Great question.
Hmm.
No, actually, we had 9 songs in the film. 8 of them were original. Were written for the script. We worked on it. Me and Amir, and I would discuss the nature of the scene. Of course, he read the script many times, and we spoke about it. But basically, I would discuss with him the motives of the characters. Where are they coming from? What are they supposed to be feeling? And where are they going after this song? And amazingly, he would just take like 2 days and come back to me with a full song. It
Yes.
was amazing. The writing, the tune, and everything. He would record it and send it to me, and it was so easy that I thought, why is nobody doing this? He was so impressive. But there was one song that we used, one of his old songs, which is um, the song he sang on stage as Ahmed when he came to being a character, because he worked in the film as sort of an angel kind of chorus. We didn't know in the beginning of on the first half of the film, we didn't know if he existed, because he appeared out of nowhere in the microbus in the street. And then halfway through the film, he becomes a character. We go inside the backstage, and we find this singer who has a similar problem to all these young people. And he comes to stage, and we wanted a song that to represent him as an artist, not
Mhm.
as a chorus for the film. And we found this beautiful song that he had already, and we decided to go with it because it went well with his character, with Ahmed's character, as a striving singer who wants to prove himself and who wants to rebel against traditional, attitudes, and his father and all that stuff.
Yes. And Tamer, right now, do you have other screening coming up for the film after Ontario?
We do, I think, but I don't know when. There is another festival in Kenya, I think, but I
Very
don't know.
good.
I can't remember. I think it's in November.
Yes, I think it will be very nice to screen the film in African countries. And yourself, are you preparing another project right now?
Right now, I'm in New York
Yeah.
with my family, and I always wanted to do a project in New York. The first film I ever did in my life was a short film I shot on black and white reversal, 16 millimeter film called The Decision, and it was in New
Yes.
York. So I'd like to try myself again and maybe do something feature length this time. So I'm working on an idea, and in the same time I'm trying to test my online content creation abilities. So I launched a YouTube channel from here. Actually, you are in my YouTube studio. So
Excellent.
I'm working on two things in the same time.
Hmm.
It's nice to try different genres and different ideas and different things. I always like to do this between projects in order to refresh my mind and think about my next move, because I always like to try different new things.
Yes. But Tamer, right now after the COVID, situation, we read a lot about the word about the cinema industry going into many changes regarding production, movie going, like streaming services. But what do you think? Do you predict that the industry also will change in Egypt as well, or the Arab world?
I think if the industry changes in the US, we are kind of tied to Hollywood somehow, because I think our seasons mm,
Yes.
is kind of tied to American films, and then we put some Egyptian films in the middle, and this is my understanding of it.
Hmm.
There are lots of we see lots of American Hollywood productions in Egypt, a lot more than Egyptian films,
Yes.
and I think if the movie going experience changes here in the US because of the economics of it, I think we will definitely it will definitely reach Egypt sooner or later. I don't know, but
Hmm.
this is only one part. This is the part about movie theaters. But I don't think the experience of making films and watching films will disappear. We love movies. We want to watch movies all the time, and I think that maybe because of COVID, we will have to do the shift sooner to online platforms. But the format of a 1 hour and a half watching experience, I think it will stay there. Unfortunately, I think that less and less people will be going to theaters because of COVID or because of the financials of it, because it gets very expensive to, if you're a family of four, it gets very expensive to watch to go to a movie theater with popcorn and parking and all that stuff for the
Yes.
kids. And it turns out to be a fraction of this price to watch the same film at home on
Hmm.
platform. So, and unfortunately, I think the economics is starting to speak, starting to money talks, like they say.
Very good. Tamer, I want to thank you very, very much for this talk after the screening of your film. When we are born لما بنتولد I wish you all the best in your upcoming projects between the States and Egypt and the Arab world,
Thank
and
you.
we hope to screen your next film in Ontario Film Festival, and we can get a live interaction with audience when this COVID thing passes away.
Yes, I'm very happy to be part of this also, and it's exciting to be. showing my film online in the Ontario Film Festival, and I actually received many messages after 6, saying that they're watching the film and stuff like this. So it's a new experience. I don't know how to feel about it. I think there is nothing that compares to being in theaters with people and watching their faces, with their eyes twinkling in the right moments and they're laughing in the right moments and stuff like this. But it is what it is. I'm happy that people are watching the film anyway.
Yes, and it's very important for a filmmaker and his cast to interact with audience, right away after watching the film and during the panels. It's a very beautiful process, to be and to meet people from other countries and culture, of course. But let's hope everything come back to normal in the upcoming months and we can go back to our normal lives.
Thank you, Sharif, and thanks for the festival for having our film, and hopefully to see you face to face with the audience one day.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Thanks, Tamer.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.